have Brandy here again. She was here, how long ago was that? 4, 6
In
weeks?
April.
April.
Yeah, right before the state pageant.
April, and she was Mrs. Tipton County, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And she since then has won Mrs. Tennessee. Woohoo! Give her a round of applause.
Now I'm fixing to go to Mrs. International to represent Tennessee in 4.5 weeks, so y'all pray for me. Big competition, big nationals. I'm trying to get ready for that.
It's nervous.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's very stressful.
So, I ask that you respect our guests. Okay, so put your phones away, unless you want pictures or something. But please be very respectful to our guests in our house, as she will respect you as well. She's not going to be on her phone the whole time. So, we ask that you not be on your phone. Y'all ready? Here she is, Brandy.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I also have a surprise to give to somebody too after I speak, so make sure you pay attention. If you even want to take notes, it's just a little hint right there.
I did it. I want one.
But my name is Brandy Jo Middleton, and I just recently won Mrs. Tennessee International. My pageant is for married women, and we represent international countries. So not only is the United States coming every country, but also international. So I'll be up against about 60 women in a few weeks. But I want to tell you a little bit about my story, my background, and then I'm going to teach you how I completely transformed my life and how you can be very successful in this line of work. I've been a licensed esthetician for about 19 years now. 13 of those years I worked at Serenity Day Spa in Memphis as the lead esthetician. Also went back and got my hair license in 2007. I won't mention what school that was, but I didn't learn much there. But I do hold that license. At least I can go to state and buy products. That's all I do with it now. But I love this field. I love teaching the beauty schools because it's my heart, especially to see y'all get into this line of work because it's an amazing field. I was pushed to go to college, and I lasted 4 years, and I hated every bit of it. And I said to myself, I'm going to do something. And I didn't know you could get a license in aesthetics. So back then in 2000, you didn't really hear much about that. So I went to the Beauty Institute and walked in, and my parents got really upset with me, but I said, I'm going to prove to you I can make a career out of this, and I did. So I'm going to share my tips on how you can grow your business and make good money, especially when you get out your first year. But before that, I want to tell you a little bit about what happened to me after I left my job. So I grew up in the pageant world, and everything was based on looks. And my job was my identity. That was what I was known for. I was very good at aesthetics, and I had a lot of requests, and I just felt good about myself. That was who I was as a person. Got married and had a little boy, and they did not prepare. Who out there is moms? Do I have any moms out here? They don't prepare you for what it's like after the baby comes, because you kind of learn. You're like, here's this child. What am I supposed to do with the baby? And then all this stuff has happened to me. I don't know who I am anymore. So I was battling that, and then I had to make the tough decision when he was 3 months old to quit my job. And it was a really hard decision, but we had daycare issues. And when I left, I completely lost who I was. And I developed postpartum depression, anxiety. Prior to that, I had been battling 3 different types of eating disorders for 25 years. So I was anorexic as a teenager and almost died. I was bulimic in high school and college. And then in my 20s and early 30s, I developed compulsive food addiction. But I was able to still manage my weight. But after I had my son and I was home and didn't know who I was, I laid in bed and I would eat and eat and eat, and it got out of hand. So it's just like being an alcoholic or drug addiction, but I was addicted to food. And with food, you can't just like give it up cold turkey. So I started plugging myself into some recovery classes. I started doing Overeaters Anonymous, and then I got into Celebrate Recovery, which helped a lot. But my weight was almost 300 pounds 2 years ago. So when my baby was 4 years old, well, let me just say that. Let me go back a little bit. That first year, I missed doing aesthetics so bad, and I thought, I need to find something I'm able to do at home without. And God placed this business in my lap, so I'm now in direct sales. I've been with this company for 6 years. So I'm able to work with the cosmetic line at home. I don't physically get to touch people anymore with facials, but at least I can still make women feel beautiful. And I've been doing that for 6 years, so I'm very blessed with that. But that still was missing who I was as a person. So when my son was 4 years old, I started having heart issues, and I had to go get an EKG. They said that came back bad. I had to get a stress test. That came back bad, had to go get an echocardiogram. When the doctor came in and said, if you don't lose weight, you're not going to live to see your son grow up. I knew I had to do something because I knew nobody could change this but me. So I came home that night and I put together a program for myself to hold myself accountable. It wasn't a diet program, it was a mental program. And I took what I had done in my aesthetics career and what I learned in the beauty field and what I learned through what I was doing for a living and just in recovery. I put together a 5-step system to hold myself accountable. And I started transforming myself mentally and spiritually and physically. People started noticing and changing me on social media and asking me, what are you doing? I thought this is a great opportunity for me to help other women because more women started messaging me and saying, oh my gosh, your story is just like mine. Like, I'm battling with all this stuff. I didn't think anybody else felt like that. And I felt like that too. I felt like I was all alone in this struggle. So my Crowning Confidence platform developed in 2017, and it's called Crowning Confidence because I teach women and men how to find the crown inside of their heart daily. And I was taught at an early age, you can't win at everything in life, but you can be the best version of yourself and compete with yourself and find the crown inside of your heart. So that's what I did, and that's what helped me transform, especially when I was trying to lose weight. So I'm going to tell you all my 5 steps that you can implement this into your life right now. You can put it in your business, you can put it in your school, you can put it in your faith, your family, any area of your life that you're wanting to transform. This will help you, and then I'm going to share some advice on how to be really successful in this field. All right, so the first step is personal development. Has anybody ever heard of personal development before? Okay, it's really important. When I got into the line I am now, I would watch all these girls that were really successful, and I'm like, what are they talking about? I have no idea what personal development is. That's silly. I don't need that. Yes, you do. It's getting your mindset right every morning. And so what I like to do, I get on YouTube and I type in personal development, and so many YouTube videos pop up. There's something called TED Talks, TED Talks. It's amazing. I would listen to that in the morning, and it would help me learn how to have a positive outlook on things. Because let's say you're driving to school and somebody cuts you off, or you have a fender bender, and that totally will ruin your day. But we're adults and we have to be responsible. We still have to come to school. We still have to go to work. So instead of letting one thing or one person or a boss or a teacher upset you all day, you learn how to change your mindset. And that can go with anything in your life. The second thing is affirmations. Anybody heard of affirmations? So especially with women, we have about 5,000 to 6,000 negative thoughts that run through our mind every day. And as women, we compare ourselves. We always look at the worst in ourselves. We're very critical of ourselves. Especially in this field, the comparison is going to be hard on you when you're with the 10 hairdressers out there. And you look around, you're like, I wish I could be like her, I wish my hair looked like her, all these fun stuff. So affirmations is retraining yourself how to believe in yourself. So when you have a negative thought that comes into your mind, you're going to immediately know that that's not the truth, because what you think you become. So if you're telling yourself that you're ugly, you're not worthy, you're fat, whatever you're telling yourself, it's a lie. But if you continue to believe that, that's what you're going to be, and that's not what you want to be. Because if you got in this field, you have a heart to want to help others. And if you are not helping yourself, how can you expect to help a client or a customer? They're going to feel that energy from you. So affirmations are speaking life over yourself and your business. So what I want you to do, not just think it, but you're going to say it out loud. I am worthy, I am enough, I'm successful, whatever it is that you want, speak it. Now I do have a free online group on Facebook that I have about 600 women in, and I have a whole list of things that you can say over yourself and more information about this if you want to get in there. It's called Crowning Confidence by Brandy Jo. That's the second step, and it works. I promise you, the more that you say it out loud, you start believing it. And if you have children, do this at an early age because it's teaching them how to stop at the negative thoughts too. Because especially with these little kids I've seen going into schools, they're already feeling it too. And that's where a lot of the bullying comes in. The third is a journal technique. So with us, we have to hold ourselves accountable, especially if you want to be your own business owner, right? You're not going to have a boss telling you what to do, so you've got to learn how to hold yourself accountable. This is a journal technique that I taught myself. So I got out a journal, and for the next day, I would write down 5 things that I wanted to do and accomplish. For me, when I started, it was my weight. That was my main focus. So I would write down 5 things that I was going to do the next day. And I would not go to bed until those were check marked off. And then I did the same thing over and over again every night. And when I did that, I held myself accountable. I developed self-pride, self-trust, because I'm an all-or-nothing girl. That's how my weight got so out of control. I would wake up and like, okay, I'm going to do Weight Watchers today. After breakfast, I blew it. I'm like, well, I blew it. So guess what? I'm just going to have a fun day all day long, and I'll do it tomorrow. That's how the pattern started with me, and that's how the addiction started, and that's how a lot of addiction starts. So if you're an all or nothing type of person, a lot of us are out there. This is going to help you break that habit quickly. The fourth is a homework assignment. You're going to get out a sheet of paper, and you're going to write down every area of your life, your faith, your family, how you are as a boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, wife, whatever, how you are as a student, employee. Whatever it is in your life, you're going to rank yourself. Like if you were in a pageant from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. And I want you to take an honest look and rank yourself in every area. Look to see what you scored the lowest on, because that's the first thing that you're going to work on to transform yourself, because you can't change everything about yourself at one time. So the fifth thing is a vision board, and I know y'all all have heard vision boards because you're in beauty school. Have y'all done a vision board yet? No? What you visualize, you become. I came and spoke in April, and I remember saying to y'all, I'm going to be Mrs. Tennessee. I said that for a whole year, and I had it on my vision board. Because I knew if I did not say it out loud, then I would not believe it in here. And when I walked into state competition and I saw these women, guess what happened to my mind? I immediately went to the comparison. I immediately had those negative thoughts. And I had to say to myself, I cannot let this happen to me. I cannot sabotage myself. It's the same thing when you get out there in the world, in the beauty world. Don't sabotage yourself. Start it now, training your brain how to be the best, because you will be the best out there. You will make a name for yourself out here in this community if you have the right mindset. It's not about skill, y'all. I'm going to tell you, it's not. It's about how you treat people, and I'll go into that in a minute. But I said it, and I said it for a whole year, and I laid in bed at night before I went to bed, and I thought, how is it going to feel when they called my name as the winner? How is it going to feel when they put that crown on my head? And guess what happened, y'all? When they were up there calling out names, my heart was like this, and I was like, how is it going to feel when they call my name? And they called my name. And that's what your visions become your reality. So whatever you want in life, I want you to visualize it. You can get on Pinterest. There's an app called Vision Board app. Take little pictures, screenshot it, put it on your phone, look at it. Because when you have a bad day, and you will have bad days, look at that and remember that is what you're going after. That's your why. That's what you want in life. And it will change throughout the months. It will change what you're trying to work on in your life. The strategy to change in that first thing I told you about that you wanted to change, you got to make realistic goals. So if it's losing weight, you got to be realistic. For me, I've lost 120 pounds. That was a lot. And when you look at that number, you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. Break it down in little things. If it's you want to be a better student, what can you do to be a better student? You have to have a strategy plan, and that's what my group teaches. I teach that on how to create a strategy. But those are the 5 steps to finding the crown inside of your heart. I promise them they work. I've taught this to over 10,000 women so far, and they're the stories that are happening the transformations that I am seeing. I actually went to speak at an elementary school. I had the principal call me the next day and said, I need you to come back and teach these 3 girls that are the mean girls. And I did, and that was scary. Middle school girls, and they were think of the Mean Girl movie. Who's watched that movie? These were the 3 girls like that. And I just sit down there, and they were just staring at me like, who is this person? But by the end, they were all crying because guess what? Nobody had told them they believed in them. They hated themselves, and guess what they were doing? They were acting out. So we all have that inside of us. And if nobody believes in you, you have to believe in yourself, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's you that has to be your biggest fan and fight for yourself and what you want, because you matter the most and you are worthy to be successful. Okay, let me give you a little advice about the field. Does anybody have any questions first about my 5 steps? Okay, when you get out there, before you get out there, do your research, find the right fit for your job, because you have so many opportunities now, and I didn't back then, but you have the opportunities now. Know your worth before you go into that interview. Be confident. Take these 5 steps, because they will make you confident. When you walk in, be confident, because that's what's going to get you the job. Okay, but make sure that you go in there and talk to the girls that work there. Get a feel for the place first. Get a feel for the boss before you make your final decision. Because that is the first year you need to stay put so you can build. Don't be hopping around, because when you hop around, that's when you're going to lose your clientele and you're not going to build a successful business, because your customers are going to feel like they can't trust you. And most of the time, I forgot the statistics, they won't follow you. Even though they say they will not follow you. That's why I stayed put for so long, because I knew if I left, I would lose my hard work. Second of all is make your customers feel like that's your only customer. And here's how you do that. Get a book. They have them all the time at Sally's. Write down your customers' information. Even if your boss tells you you're not allowed to keep up with your customers, yes, you are. This is a free country. These are your people. Keep up with them. Okay? And if you have to go to your car at night and write it in there or take it home, get their name, address, phone number, okay? When they're in your chair or when they're laying on your aesthetics table and they tell you something about themselves, notes. That is the best thing. Make notes. What did she say her dog's name was? What did she say her kid's name? What does she do for a living? Make notes, because when she leaves or he leaves, when you're not busy, you're going to write a handwritten thank you note. This is the key to what made me separate myself. I wrote handwritten thank you notes, and I would specifically say, I hope to see you back in such and such weeks. Hope your grandbaby's doing well. Guess what they called? And like, oh, I got the sweetest letter. I'm going to rebook with Brandy. That's how I built my business. And when they came back, I would say, hey, girl, how's your grandbaby? She was like, wow, this person really cares for me. If you make your customer feel like $1 million, you will make $1 million in this business, okay? It's not about who can cut the hair the best. It's not. It's about how you make them feel, okay? And don't expect your boss to fill up your book. That's the biggest mistake I saw when I worked at the spa, is people would just sit there and think, okay, I'm going to take walk-ins. You can't wait on it. You've got to have that go-getter hustle mentality to make $100,000 in this business. And it can be done. I have friends who have made more than doctors out there, and it blows me away. It can be done. But you've got to have that go-getter mentality. Don't sit back and wait for it to happen. If you're not busy, take your business cards, walk around the businesses, introduce yourself. Sometimes at the beginning you have to give away free services, but you can say, hey girl, I'm going to cut your hair, but if you send me 5 people, I'll cut your hair again free next time. Do things like that. Make sure it's okay with your boss. Also make friends with the estheticians. Estheticians make friends with the hairdressers, massage, nails. Back and forth, y'all can trade out your customers, and you can work out deals with services with them, okay? It's really important to do, and don't compare yourself to others, because each of you in here has a special gift and talent that nobody else has. Even in the aesthetics world, when you get out, clone your skill, like make it your own. We all have to do basic things in a facial, but you can make it own and tweak it and make it like no other. And that's what's going to make people come back to you as well. And they can feel, with aesthetics, they definitely can feel your energy. If you are having a bad day, if you are having negative thoughts, that comes right through your hands, and they feel that. They will feel that energy. So you have to, that's where personal development comes in big time on that. And believe me, I had a lot of bad days where I worked, and I had to like completely go to the bathroom and like, okay, I can't, because it's going to ruin my paycheck. So it's real important that you do that. Does anybody else have any questions for me before I do my little fun game about the field or the steps, or anybody going through something that they want to talk about? Yes.
What was the 4th and 5th step?
Okay, so the 4th step is your strategy scoring system. So you score yourself from 1 to 10 on different areas of your life on a piece of paper, and take a hard look at it and see which is the first thing that you've scored yourself the lowest on. The 5th is a vision board, and I want you to be specific to that, what you scored yourself lowest on right now. Be specific to that, and then you're going to come up with a strategy for it. Anybody else have a question? Yes.
So how long did it take you to, I guess, come into the person that you are now?
I'm 40, so it took me 39 years. 39 years, and I still continue to work on it, yeah. Even when I was like 21, I think, I was like 22 when I got out of aesthetics, and I was so weak and timid and meek. I let people walk right on over me. I let my boss walk all over me, and guess what happened? As I grew in that business, and I grew in her place, I started developing a little bit more confidence, but I knew I could speak up because she was used to this branding, and now I'll have this branding. So that's what I mean. Know your worth before you go into a job. Know what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. And it is okay to make sure you find the right fit. You will find work out there. There are so many opportunities, even in aesthetics now, so many opportunities out there for you all to really grow and to develop. Another thing I forgot to tell you is please don't, and I was so scared about this when I started. I was so afraid to make recommendations for products. But it's really necessary. That's what your boss expects, and that's where you're going to get that income coming in all the time, even when you're not there. On your day off, you have a customer walk back in and buy products that you recommended. You just made money and you weren't even there. So don't be afraid to make recommendations. I know that's not why we all got into school. We're not salespeople, right? But don't be afraid, because they're coming to you because you are the expert. And if you don't tell them, they're going to go to Walmart, they're going to go to Ulta, which Ulta is not going to be your friend when you get out, because they sell hair products that you will have in your salon. It's not cool. But don't let them go to Ulta. You deserve that money. You went to school. You're the expert, okay? Second of all, don't be afraid to upsell. So if you have somebody in your chair and you're like, okay, this is a slow week. You're going to have slow weeks. Especially, it goes like this in the beauty field. It's up and down, up and down. That's normal. Don't freak out if you have a week that you're not busy. It is totally normal, okay? But if you have a week that you're not busy and you do have a couple customers, don't be afraid to upsell their services. So if you're sitting there doing their hair or you're doing their facial and you're like, you know what, we have this new wax and I would love to do your eyebrows because it would really help frame your face. Let me do your eyebrows today. Add on services, because that's going to increase your check big time, okay? When you're taking notes on your customers, write down what products you recommended, because if they do buy them, if you're not busy, you can get on the phone and call them and be like, hey, girl, I miss you. I'm running a special on XYZ. I'm just checking on your products. How are you doing? They will be so impressed, because people don't do that anymore. Provide the best customer service and you will make the most money where you work. And guess what happens when you make the most money? You get promoted big time, fast. Your boss pays attention to you. You're more likely to get your vacation time that you want, the days off that you want. You start producing for them, they will do what they can to make you happy and keep you, because you're become a valuable asset to them. Okay, anybody else have any questions? Okay, so, yes.
Did you work in the hair industry at all?
No, I wish.
Okay.
I'm not. My school's not even Bismuth. They just closed. I'm not gonna tell you who it was.
Oh, okay.
I thought. I only went there because they had night school at the time. We didn't have this here. I wish, or the night program or whatever. We didn't have a teacher. I don't even know how. Let me just say this. I don't know how I got my license. I prayed through the whole time, and if I pass, y'all can pass. I promise you, it's not that hard. The lady looked at so when we were doing the hair cutting, she picked up my mannequin and I could just tell, because she can't talk to them. She just had that look. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to come back and do this all over again. And when they were like, you passed. I'm like, that was a miracle, because I cannot tell you how to cut hair. I wasted all that money. So I would love to get back into it one day, but I feel like I would have to go back to school for that. So I just want you to know, I've gone to a lot of beauty schools to taught, because that's my heart. Y'all are in a very good school. Believe me. Very, very good school. You are blessed to be here, and girls that I work with in aesthetics are now at Goals and doing great, and you will have a great career here. I'm telling y'all, this is a really nice place to work for and to go to school with. Okay. I know some days you're like, but I'm telling you, it's true. It's a really good place. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, so who can tell me my 5 steps? Raise your hand. Yes.
Personal development, affirmation, journal technique, strategy, and vision board.
Come on up.
Yes, girl.
So for me, I'm a visualization girl. On my phone it says I am Mrs. International, because guess what's fixing to happen in my mind when I walk in there. So for me, I had to have a crown in front of me, like I had a crown bracelet, and I would wear it all the time and look at it. So I want you to find the crown inside of your heart daily. So I'm going to actually give you a crayon. You get a crayon. So I'm going to crown you. So now you can keep that at your safe work.
Go, girl. That's so sweet.
So now you can keep that at your safe. Are you in aesthetics or hair?
I'm in aesthetics.
Oh, awesome. Now you can keep that with you and remember your worth and your value. Okay? You're welcome.
Hey, wait a minute. Could y'all pose again? I want to get a picture. I'm a little slow. I'm a little slow, but y'all, come on. Let's bear with me here one. All right. This is awesome here. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to pass out. I'm going to phone number and how you can reach me on Facebook. If you want to be part of my group, that's very confidential. We're in there and we support each other. Please feel free. Or if you have a bad day, or you get out there and you need advice, or you're like, I don't know if this is the right fit for me. Can you give me advice? I would love to help y'all, because I do have a true heart. And one day I would love to get back in to teach aesthetics. That's my goal one day. It's been my heart to do that. So I want to help as many women, not only in aesthetics, but in this field, because this is such a great field to get into. And I've been able to go to a couple of high schools that have cosmetology, but the school systems are trying to push it out. And I don't want to see that happen, because college isn't for everybody, y'all. I mean, and I'm living proof. You can be successful and not have to go to college. And we need our young girls to know that too coming up. This is a great, great field to be in, because you have the power to completely make somebody feel beautiful, and on the inside and outside as well. When you realize that, your paycheck will go up high, I promise. So I'm going to give these out to y'all. And if I have a help, anybody want to help me pass these? Anybody want to help her for me and pass these out?
I'll start on this side. Take one, pass it down. Take one, pass it back. Okay. Give your hand full up. Take the pass it down.
Everybody got one? Y'all get one? So who in here is getting close to graduating? Who's getting close to graduating? Oh, awesome. Do y'all have jobs lined up? Are y'all getting nervous about taking your test? Yes. I'm telling y'all, it's not bad. Don't stress out about it. It's not. Just listen to everything your instructor's telling you to do, and you're going to do amazing at it. And that's the best feeling when you get that license. And thank you.
No, I don't, you go on and finish, and then I was gonna thank you for coming to share with us.
You're welcome. Don't make the mistake I did though, y'all. If y'all get out and y'all don't continue to practice, keep your license up. I thought I did, and they used to would mail you a reminder. They don't do that anymore. So I went to state to get some products. I'm like, oh my God, my license is like a year lapsed. So I called him like, please tell me I don't have to go back and take the test. I'm like, no, so don't let your license lapse. Keep it up, because you never know if you're going to get back into it again. And also out there, I need to tell y'all this really quick. I have a lot of hair loss from all the damage I've done to my body. And it started after I had my son, but it's really bad. So I had to start wearing wigs last year, and it was really detrimental to who I was as a person. And I fell in love with wigs. That is a great industry to get in. There's not that much around here. And there is one girl I know that lives in North Carolina that travels and does events. She created her own hair extensions and toppers. She charges $1,800. She makes bank. And she comes and sets up at these big shows like Mistletoe Merchant, Spring Market, and she hires local hairdressers to come in to help her, and she gives them a cut off that too. There's good money to be made out there in the hair extension and the wig world. Just wanted to let y'all know that.
It's gonna be you. Well, first of all, we want to thank you for coming and sharing with us great story. Thank you. So let's give her a hand for taking a beautiful story. And we need that encouragement, you know, when they can hear it from someone that's been in the industry. So, yay. And we're gonna be praying that you come back.
As Mrs. International?
Yes.
That would be amazing. Yes, so thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
And if anybody wants a picture, I would love to have a picture with y'all. Some picture.